everyone. So we're going to be doing a flow style yoga practice today, and you don't need any props. It might be nice to have a pillow or a block, maybe more towards the end of the practice, but you'll be perfectly fine if you have no props whatsoever. And let's go ahead and begin lying down on our backs. So for today's class, we're going to start in Shavasana, bringing the palms to face up, allowing the eyes to close. And let's just start by taking a few deep breaths here. Really deep breath in through the nose. Really full exhale out of the mouth. Let's do that again. Deep breath in through the nose. And let it all go out of the mouth. Now just allowing the breath to flow in and out naturally. Noticing the pattern of the breath. Noticing the steadiness or even the unevenness of the breath. And beginning to allow yourself to really feel the body filling with air from bottom to top. And releasing from top to bottom. With each exhale, relaxing just a little bit more. As you continue to breathe and just noticing the breath here. On the inhale, you might notice the sensation of the belly rising and falling as you exhale. Noticing the sensation of the ribs expanding and contracting. Noticing the gentle lifting and lowering of the shoulders. And seeing if you can begin to soften the muscles of the eyes and the face. Relaxing the jaw. Staying really steady with the breath, really present with the breath. Begin to bring your legs together, and we'll start by simply hugging the right knee into the chest. Give it a light squeeze and then start to roll the ankle around in little circles. And make sure you get both directions. And we're going to do the same with the knee, so just beginning to kind of move the head of the leg bone around in the hip socket, really slowly moving the knee in little circles. And doing the other direction. Good, and now placing a bend in your left knee and crossing your right ankle over your left thigh. Now here's where we're going to check in and just kind of notice how our hips are feeling here. So if your hips are really tight, this might already be a deep enough place for us to begin with, especially at the very beginning of our practice. So you're welcome to stay here. Or we're going to bring our left knee now into our chest, interlace the hands behind the thigh, and see if you can just kind of relax into this. Relax the low back down. then either staying there or you can release the arms out to the sides. We're going to take what's called a twisted pigeon. For this one, we're going to be doing it in this supine position. So keeping the legs oriented just exactly how they are, begin to take your right foot over to the left side now. So a little twist in the low back and the hips, and seeing if you can set your right foot down on the floor. The outer left leg is on the floor, and then that left hand is going to come up against the inner right knee and gently press. And you can take your gaze off your right shoulder if you want to. And just kind of hang out there. If you think you might have a little bit more space, one more option is you could grab hold of your right ankle or your right foot and kind of snuggle it up towards your left hip. And just taking a few breaths here, noticing how the body's feeling. Turning the head back up through center, slowly beginning to bring the legs back, and then just setting that left foot down, uncrossing the right leg and allowing it to extend all the way down on the floor. And then we'll hug that left knee into the chest, give it a squeeze, roll the left ankle around in little circles, and make sure we're getting both directions. And then do the same with the knees, so just starting to move again, the head of the leg bone right around in the hip socket, making sure we're getting both directions. Just a really gentle awakening of the hips. Go ahead and now place a bend in your right knee, and we'll cross that left ankle over the right thigh. And again, just kind of notice how that feels. Notice any changes or differences from right to left. Maybe open and close the knee just a little bit. And then we're going to pick up our right foot, potentially, and interlace our hands behind our right thigh. So if that feels good, again, we're just going to kind of hang out here and notice, maybe experiencing a sense of release and opening in the hips. And then if you have more space or just want to give it a try, we're going to begin by taking our left foot now over to the right. So we're twisting the lower portion of the spine. The upper portion is staying right where it's at. And again, we want the outer right leg to land on the floor and the sole of the left foot to be on the floor. And again, you can kind of snuggle that left heel up towards the right hip. Maybe take your right hand against the knee and gently push it away. Start to feel this nice opening, this relaxing response here in the body. Taking one more breath. And taking your gaze up towards the ceiling, begin to unwind and then uncross that left leg. And now we'll bring both knees in towards the chest and gently just rock side to side on the back. Now we'll bring our hands to our kneecaps and just slowly press the knees away from you. Separate the knees and then bring the knees back in. So again, just finding this rotation, this movement of the head of the femur in the hip socket. You might even close your eyes and see if you can sense that. And then do the other direction. So however you were moving before, find the opposite. Nice and slow start. And then bringing the knees back into the chest, begin to sort of rock up and down on the spine just a little bit and starting to build a little bit of momentum maybe. and coming all the way up to seated. Good. Now, so from here, just crossing whatever leg naturally fell in front. We're going to keep that leg there. Relax the shoulders down the back. Close the eyes. And take a moment here to notice your posture. Notice if you're kind of hinging forward from the hips or if you have the space to straighten the spine just a little bit more. Notice the breath. And then let's begin to tuck the chin in towards the chest. Just really slowly rock the head from side to side, waking up the muscles of the neck. Nice and slow. Coming right back to center, lifting the head, swimming the arms up towards the ceiling, gazing in the direction of your thumbs. And as we exhale, just folding forward over your legs for a moment there. Good. And now when you're ready, slowly rise into hands and knees, finding your way to a table pose on the mat. Creases of the wrists under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And let's begin tucking the tail, rounding the spine, and dropping the head with a few rounds of cat-cow here. As we inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, relaxing the shoulders down and away from the ears. Back and forth, nice and slow. And taking one more round. Good. And now coming back to neutral, tucking our toes, and let's make our way to our first downward facing dog. So lifting the hips up and back, stretching the heels towards the floor. And let's just begin by pedaling the feet back and forth, nice and slow, pressing the right heel down, bending deeply into that left knee. And then finding the opposite, bending deeply into the right knee, pressing the left heel down. And now rising to both sets of toes. And as we exhale, step, jump, maybe even float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, maybe wrap the hands behind the legs and really find a nice deep stretch for the low back here. Keeping the knees soft and unlocked. Good, release any bind you might have. Press into the feet and inhale, take the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up and pause here. So really strong here, pressing the mounds of all of the knuckles into the floor, hug the upper arm bones in, squeeze the belly in, breathe. And try to keep the back of the neck long. Remember, we don't want the head to fall here. We want the back of the neck to be long and strong. Taking one more breath. And downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in our downward facing dog. Relaxing the knees. Maybe lifting the hip creases up just a little bit higher. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. And exhale, step forward between the hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swing the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. So let's continue to warm up. Inhale, arms rise. We'll do a few more sun salutation A's. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Keep breathing. And this time we'll incorporate chaturanga. So we're going to come forward on our tippy toes, really keep the navel hugging in strongly. And as we exhale, bend the elbows back in space. Untuck the toes, find your way into an upward facing dog, lift the gaze. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few more breaths here. One more breath. Inhale, rise into the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. And exhale, refold. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Let's just take our inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And just a few more breaths. Hug the upper arm bones in here. Maybe imagine dragging the thumbs towards each other, really feeling that strength in the arms. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. And exhale, refold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good, now we're gonna walk our big toes to touch, heels just slightly apart. Inhale, taking the arms all the way up. And exhale, chair pose, sitting down and back. Think about sinking the hip creases back in space. Maybe lift all 10 toes, just checking in with the feet, trying to lengthen the arms here and engage the muscles of the upper arms. Gaze slightly forward, keep breathing. Maybe sit down and back just a little bit more if you have the space. Good, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale through to upward facing dog, and then stay with me here. As we exhale, we're going to lift our hips and bring our right knee in towards our nose for an up dog crunch. Inhale, slide that right leg back. Exhale, left knee hugs in. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here, reconnecting with that nice rhythm of our breath. One more breath. Good, and inhale, rise into the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold, soften the knees. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, swim the arms up, walk the big toes to touch. Exhale, sit down and back, chair pose. Draw the hands to the heart for this one. Keeping the thumbs close to the sternum, let's try to hook that right elbow outside of the left thigh, maybe gaze over the left shoulder. So for this one, pressing the palms into each other, seeing if you can move the upper back just a little bit more, thinking about your left shoulder blade gliding towards your spine. Good, and inhale, come back through center, extend the arms. Exhale, other side, left elbow hooking outside of that right thigh, gazing over that right shoulder. One more breath here. Inhale, come back through center, extend the arms, sit down another inch, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, hug the right knee in towards the chest. Inhale, slide that right leg back. Exhale, left knee hugs in. Inhale, take the left leg back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up in the air. And as you exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Good, now we're gonna come up onto our fingertips and first start to drive down through that right foot. Hug the right hip in. And as we inhale now, rising all the way up to crescent warrior. Hug the outer hips in, squeeze the left thigh muscles onto the left thigh bone. And breathe. Good, see if you can really lengthen up through the torso. And then taking your right arm back behind you, left arm forward, gazing back towards that right hand. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, warrior two. Drop your left heel, open the arms out to a T, gaze out over those right fingertips. Take a few breaths here, hugging the inner thighs in towards each other. Exhale, reverse warrior. Good, inhale, come back through center. And as you exhale, swim the hands down to the floor, slide that right leg back. Keep the toes hovering off the floor for this one. And as we exhale, bring the right knee towards the right shoulder. Inhale, slide the right leg back, drop the toes. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog for a little rest. See if you can start to come back to that steady rhythmic breathing. Hugging the upper arm bones in, hugging the thumbs towards each other, really strong downward facing dog. Inhale, rising to the tippy toes. Exhale, step jumper, float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, chair pose, walk the big toes to touch heels slightly apart. Bring the thumbs to the sternum. This time we'll go left first. So let's hook that left elbow outside of that right thigh. Gaze over the right shoulder. Breathe. Good. Inhale, come back through center. Extend the arms. Exhale, other side, hooking that right elbow outside of the left thigh. Gaze over the left shoulder. Good. Inhale, coming back through center. Extend the arms. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step to the back of the mat, top of a push-up. Take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, opposite knee to nose. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, inhale, take that left leg up in the air. And as you exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Good, coming up onto our fingertips here, really driving down through that left foot and hugging the outer hips in. As you continue to press down through that left foot, rise up to a crescent warrior, nice and strong. Good, really extending through the crown of the head. And now let's take our twist. Left arm back, right arm forward. If you can, you're gazing in the direction of that left hand. Good, inhale, come back up through center. And exhale, warrior two. So now dropping that right heel, opening the arms to a T. Hug the inner thighs in. Good, reverse warrior, right arm down, left arm reaches up. And coming back to warrior two. And as we exhale, swim the hands down to the floor. Slide the left leg back, toes hover off of the ground. And then hug that left knee towards the left shoulder. Inhale, slide it back, tap the toes, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now let's drop the knees to the floor, bring the toes together, sink the hips back towards the heels. And just taking a moment here to regroup, to slow down the breath. Let's take about 5 more breaths here. Inhale, come back up. Find your downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. So now walk the big toes to touch again. Inhale, swim the arms up. Exhale, chair pose, sit down and back. And we're going to start to place a little bit more weight in our right foot right now. And just hover the left foot up off the floor. So we're balancing there on that one foot. Keep breathing. Good. And now bring the hands to the heart. See if you can cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Sit down even a little bit more if you can. Try to keep the sternum lifted. Gaze slightly forward. Breathe. Hug the right hip back. Good. Now for this one, you can stay right where you're at if you want. If you want to try for a little twist here, see if you can try to hook that left elbow outside of the right foot. Maybe even dropping the fingertips down on that left side as you raise the right arm up. And slowly come back to center and unwind. Swing the arms back up and overhead. Bring that left knee up with you. And then as you exhale, fold forward, dropping the left foot down, dropping the fingertips down. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. Good, take an inhale. We'll just take a regular chaturanga this time. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale through to upward facing dog. No up dog crunches this round. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, inhale, raise the right leg up in the air. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Come up onto those fingertips. Press down through the right foot, and as we inhale, bring the arms straight up in the air. Good, exhale, right arm back, left arm forward, taking your twist. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, warrior two, drop that left heel, open the arms to a T. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, swim the hands down to the floor, slide that right leg back, toes hover. Exhale, bring the right knee towards the left tricep. And inhale, tap the toes down, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths. We have one more round. Good. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step jump or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good, so last standing round here. Walk the feet together, big toes touch, heels apart. Inhale, taking the arms all the way up. And exhale, chair pose, sit down and back. Good, this time we're gonna rest more weight in that left foot than the right and hover the right foot up off the floor. And breathe. Good, bring the hands to the heart. See if you can cross that right ankle over the left thigh and sit down just a little bit more. Gaze is forward. You can stay right here if this is challenging enough balancing for you. Or you can try to take that standing twisted pigeon now, maybe hooking the right elbow outside of the left foot, right foot. Drop the right fingertips down, left arm can reach up. Good. And bring the hands back to center. Slowly unwind and bring that right knee up with you. Good. And as we exhale, fold forward, drop the right foot down. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, top of a push-up. Take that inhale again. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Inhale, crescent warrior, arms rise. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Good, inhale, come back through center. Exhale, warrior two. Good, reverse your warrior, right arm down, left arm reaches. And back to warrior two for just a breath. As we exhale, swim the hands back down to the floor, slide the left leg back, toes hover. As we exhale, left knee towards that right tricep. Inhale, slide the left leg back, toes drop. And as you exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and let's drop those knees back down to the floor. And bring the toes to touch, knees apart, sink the hips back towards the heels. Good, and now as you inhale, rise back up. And let's find our way to our downward facing dog. Inhale, slide your right leg up in the air. And as you exhale, bring your right knee towards your right wrist and drop it down. And then drop your back knee down. So we're doing a little pigeon prep here. That front leg can be angled at about a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle if you have more space. And we're just going to find our way into just a soft pigeon pose here at first. Just forearms down on the floor, drop the weight of the head. And just coming back to that breath still. So I've been waiting the whole class for this next one, our prone twisted pigeon pose. So if you'd like to take it with me, you're going to bring the arms out in front of you, just that right arm actually, and then our left arm is going to slide behind our right arm, and you can come down on your left temple. Now here's where, if you had a block and you wanted to use it, that would come in handy. The right arm can either just stretch right out in front of you, You could even rack that right arm behind your back if you wanted to. Do whatever feels comfortable. We're going to hang out here for about 10 breaths. See if you can keep slowing down the pace of the breath. And just taking about 5 more breaths here. One more breath. And then slowly start to unwind. Walk the hands back, tuck the back toes. We're going to slide our right leg up and back behind us. And if it feels good, feel free to go ahead and bend that right knee. Maybe roll the knee and the hip around in little circles. And then set that right foot back down on the floor. Good. As we inhale, slide the left leg up in the air. Exhale, bring the left knee towards the left wrist and drop that right knee down. So again, a little pigeon prep on this side, just finding that place that feels pretty good. Coming down onto the forearms and relaxing the head for these first few breaths here. If you want to take that nice supine twisted pigeon, slide your right arm behind your left, come down on your right temple, maybe slide that left arm forward behind you or wherever it feels comfortable. And just relaxing into this. About 5 more breaths here. Slowly, when you're ready, sliding the hands back, tucking the back toes, lifting that left leg straight up in the air, maybe bending the knee and rotating the knee around in little circles. And setting the foot back down on the floor, dropping the knees back down. And we're just going to sit back to slide the legs out to one side or the other and come to a seated position. So just a nice, tall, seated position here, bringing the hands to the knees, closing the eyes, relaxing the shoulders. Good. As we inhale, let's swim the arms all the way up and overhead. Squeeze the navel in towards the spine. Take your gaze forward and see if you can bring your ears to surround, your arms to surround your ears. And we're going to start to twist to our right. Try to keep the arms lifted for right now and see if you can simply use the core muscles to twist. Good, and now dropping that left hand outside of the right knee. The right hand is behind you, and first, before you look behind you, lift and lengthen through the spine, and begin to twist the right shoulder blade back towards the spine, and then take your gaze forward, behind you. Just another breath here. Good, and then looking forward, unwinding, swimming the arms back up, switching to crossing the legs, lifting the sternum and beginning to twist to your left. Good, dropping the right hand down, left hand behind the tailbone, and again, begin to peel that left shoulder blade back, and once you've twisted deeply into the upper back, then turn your head. Turning the gaze forward, unwinding, and we're going to find our way to our backs now. So just go ahead and roll onto your backs. And taking a moment, walking the feet as wide apart as the mat, and letting the knees knock in. Releasing the arms out to the sides, and bring the heels in maybe just a little bit closer than they are right now towards your sit bones. The feet are going to stay separated pretty wide apart there. Leave the feet where they're at, and we're just going to knock our knees to the right. And then come back up and take the knees to the left. And back and forth just a few times. Next time you take the knees to the right, leave the knees to the right, and you can stay right where you're at if you'd like to, or you can pick up your right foot and see if you can rest it someplace on that left thigh, just for a little bit deeper stretch there. The arms can do whatever you're comfortable with. The gaze can go to your left, it can stay up, just finding someplace that feels comfortable. Releasing that right foot back down to the outer edge of the mat, and taking your knees to the left. Good. Again, feel free to stay right here, or pick up that left foot and rest it on the right thigh. And just breathe. Slowly unwinding, dropping that left foot back down to the outer edge of the mat, and then bringing both knees in towards the chest.